The digital production buzz at the 2015 NAB Show is made possible by supporting sponsors. Shutterstock, a global marketplace for royalty-free images and videos. With over 2 million royalty-free HD and 4K video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. And by One Beyond, leaders in digital video systems for streaming, archive, and storage. Additional sponsors include LarryJordan.com, helping media pros find work, improve their skills, and keep clients happy.
Beaming live from the 2015 NAB Show in Las Vegas. Media, technology, news, insight. Connecting media professionals around the globe. This is the NAB Show BuZZ.
Welcome back to the 2015 NAB Show. My name is Larry Jordan. This is the Digital Production Buzz. I am delighted to have you with us. We have got an incredible show for you, but I want to share with you some of the stuff that's happening on social media. Tom Laughlin on NABShowBuzz.com wrote, "Love your web show coverage. Can't wait for the next one." And Andy Edwards on Twitter wrote, "Looking good, DP Buzz. Thanks for the live stream. We are delighted to be bringing you live coverage direct from the NAB Show. And today's show, this is the cool stuff. We're going to start with Dana Ruzicka of Avid, talking about the new Avid announcements. Bob Caniglia with Blackmagic Design, talking about their new cameras. Durin Gleaves of Adobe Systems, talking about the new stuff happening in Adobe Audition. Rag Srinivasan, who is with HGST. HGST, which is Hitachi Data Systems, has got some incredible new way of storing media, which we all need to know about. And Jess Hartman, the CEO of Promax Systems, has got brand new stuff. Avid is coming up next, right after this. This is Larry Jordan. I'd like to introduce you to one of our sponsors, Shutterstock.com. They're a global marketplace for royalty-free images, videos, and music. Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. Whether it's for your website, a publication, an ad, video, or any other type of project, you can choose from over 2 million royalty-free HD, even 4K stock video clips. These include time-lapses, aerials, green screens, and model-released video. Take 25% off your first purchase. Go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code NABBuzz15. That's NABBUZZ15. And if you're attending NAB in person, visit Shutterstock at booth C1727 in the Central Hall. It's all at Shutterstock.com. Welcome back to NAB. Dana Ruzicka is the VP of Segment and Product Marketing at Avid, and Avid really needs no introduction. They redefined editing with the nonlinear editing system back about 5 centuries ago, and they've got really cool stuff now. Dana, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tell me what this Avid Everywhere business is all about.
Sure. So Avid Everywhere is really our vision for the future of the industry. And it really, if you boil it down, it's all about more powerfully connecting content creators with consumers, the viewers out there. And what we're doing is really taking care of all the technical heavy lifting under the scene, underneath, with a technology platform that basically allows you to create content through the acquisition, production, all the way out through delivery and distribution. And we're really aiming at tying all of those different steps in the chain together.
Now, why is this Avid Everywhere so important?
You know, when we look at where the industry is going, we really need a more efficient way to go from content creation to distribution and do it in a way where we can serve up media to all the different devices that our customers and our viewers, audiences want to actually consume media on. And really what we're all about is making that more efficient and more powerful than ever before with Avid Everywhere.
Well, how does this market change? I mean, Avid has always been focused on its customers, hasn't it?
It has, but when you look at it, it's really more of an end-to-end ecosystem and value chain now, from creation all the way out to distribution. It's not just about editing it, it's about actually getting it in the right formats and out to the right distribution distribution channels, whether it's web, mobile, or social. And again, what we're trying to do is do all the technical heavy lifting behind the scenes and creating an end-to-end technology platform that will allow our users to really start from the beginning, create all the way out and getting it to the hands of their viewers.
So it sounds like it's much more about integrating all the different products that Avid has so that they work together more seamlessly than they have in the past.
Yes, and it's not just Avid's products too. It's a completely open environment. So we have what we call the connectivity toolkit, where we have right now over 600 connectivity partners that actually tie into this whole ecosystem. So it's not just Avid; it's really tying together Avid and every other vendor within the industry into this platform.
Well, we have to talk about new news, and this is NAB after all. So did Avid announce anything new the last period of time?
Sure, we have a lot of exciting announcements. So the first one is Media Composer First. And what this
Media Composer?
Media Composer First. So what this is it's a free downloadable version of Media Composer.
Wait. What word?
Free, if you can believe it.
From
yes,
Avid?
From Avid. And the idea here is really to make the tools that the pros use. So, Media Composer really is the staple and used by the top industry professionals. And we're creating basically a simplified version of that. That's a free download, so your aspiring filmmakers, your students, your videographers can really experience those same tools. It'll have 3 cloud projects you can use. It'll have a limited number of video and audio channels, but it's the same basic tool set used by the pros.
But all too often when a manufacturer makes a light version, it's so badly crippled that you really can't do anything productive with it. Is this really just to be considered a learning tool, or can people get work done?
People can really get work done with this, and when we say simplify, we want to streamline the tools so that it's easy for them to get up and running, but it really is the same editing tool set used by the top pros. And it doesn't just stop with the editing. As we were talking about what Avid Everywhere is about, as users actually start to use this, they can take their final content, they can post it up into our marketplace, so other users in the community can actually see what they're doing. We have an artist community, so when you download this product, you become part of our artist community where you can actually network and find other talent that you might want to collaborate with. And there's also an app store where, as you start to use Media Composer First, if you want to add effects and stock footage or whatever, that is very easy to sort of download it and start working with that in your project.
Are we going to be able to migrate projects from Avid Media Composer First up to Media Composer, or is it a standalone application?
Absolutely can migrate it forward. So it's really just, once you're ready to step up into the full version, it's a simple monthly subscription. Very easy path.
And the files will transfer?
All the files transfer.
What else you got that's new?
So that's when we sort of step up into the professional videographers, we're working in concert partnering with Blackmagic Design to roll out a new video interface for high-resolution video. So we call it the Avid Artist DNX.io. And really what this is, it's for use with Media Composer, but it also works with third-party applications like Adobe Premiere and Apple Final Cut Pro as well. But it's basically for working with high-res content. So obviously standard def, HD, but 2K, 4K, any Ultra HD, any high-res material, you can work with natively within this box, bringing it in and outputting it. But we also built in Avid's DNX HR encoding, so you can actually work with proxy resolutions, visually lossless proxy resolutions as well.
Now, is this a transfer protocol or a codec or an XML intercommunication standard?
So it's the product itself is actually, it's a hardware box for input and output, and within there, the DNX HR is actually a codec. It's hardware accelerated, so in real time we can create whatever proxy resolutions you want to use. And again, they're visually lossless. They look great. You can actually go right to air with them. So you can work natively with high-res media, or you can work in Avid's DNX HR. It's very simple, very flexible, and we're really excited to be working with Blackmagic Design to get that out there.
Okay, what else you got?
So on the storage side, we're rolling out a new version of ISIS, the ISIS 1000. And so we already have the 7500 and the 5500 out there, and this is sort of like their little brother. And we've taken all the goodness of the file system and all of our shared collaboration capabilities that we have in our storage system, and we've put it down in a form factor that's really designed for small post-production and audio facilities. So it's 20 terabytes, scalable up to 80 terabytes. It has all the bells and whistles that you would expect coming from an Avid shared storage solution, and it starts for under $18K. So it's a pretty exciting product.
That's amazing. Anything else?
Sure. Probably the last big announcement that we have is the Avid Venue S6L. So if you shift to the sort of the live
We're
sound,
talking live sound
live
here.
sound now. So over 10 years ago, we revolutionized live sound mixing with our Venue product line with its tight integration with Pro Tools.
Now, is Venue Pro Tools, or is Venue something different than Pro
So
Tools?
Venue is actually the live sound control surface, really designed for live and event audio reinforcement. It's very closely coupled with Pro Tools, so you can basically take your plugins, your session file settings, and all that, and it flows right into the Venue. And then if you do something live, it flows right back into Pro Tools. So you can take your mix from the studio on stage and then back into the studio again very easily. And with the new Venue S6L, it's a next generation of Venue. So it is beautiful. Touch screens, all redesigned fader modules, all of the latest connectivity with AVB, Audinate's Dante, Matty. It's really, really exciting.
And Dana, where can people go on the web to learn more about what Avid's got available?
Everything I just talked about here, you can see up on avid.com.
Is this announced or is it shipping?
All of these are announcing. The Media Composer First will ship later this year, and we're taking orders on all the other products now.
Amazing stuff.
Yes,
Thank
exciting.
you.
Thank you.
Dana Ruzicka is the VP of Segment and Product Marketing for Avid. Their website is avid.com. And Dana, as always, Avid is an industry leader and has been for years. It's wonderful having you back on the show, and thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Beyond loaned us the video gear we're using to present the BuZZ at NAB. We're using 3 One Beyond StreamCam PTZs for our live cameras and the One Beyond Stream Machine Pro to switch, add titles, encode, stream live, even record the show for later posting. The Stream Machine is portable, the size of a briefcase with a convenient handle, built-in screen, and keyboard. It includes 4 HGST inputs, so it's easy to set up anywhere and begin broadcasting. This one unit replaces all the gear used in the traditional switcher, recorder, encoder configuration. Also new at the show, the One Beyond StreamCam Auto Tracker. The Auto Tracker automatically follows a speaker with no camera operator required. One Beyond has a new way to experience a multicam event online. The One Beyond U-Switch player lets the viewer switch between cameras in their browser, live, as they watch. See all of these at onebeyond.com.
They have a booth the size of Rhode Island in the South Lower Hall, and if you've been paying any attention to the industry at all, Blackmagic Design is always on the top of your list for stunning new announcements. Bob Caniglia is the Senior Regional Manager for Eastern North America, Blackmagic Design. And Bob, wonderful to have you back again.
Thank you for having me.
The gentleman from Avid said that you have worked on new announcements from Avid, but people are still stunned with the new cameras that you've got, and the new thises and the new thatses, and some of it I know and some of it I don't. What's the latest news from Blackmagic?
Well, we introduced 38 new products, not including the announcement that Avid made, in addition to
38.
38, and then those are new products, and then, of course, there's updates to Resolve, DaVinci Resolve 12, and Fusion now on Mac. And,
which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I guess let's start with Resolve. Resolve has been a core product for Blackmagic for 5.5 years. I was at DaVinci when they purchased it. And this year we added over 80 new features. And Grant thinks I said this morning that it was the largest upgrade we've done, which seems amazing considering what we've done in the past.
But the big change in Resolve has really been to make it much more of an editing system as opposed to just color grading system, which is clearly by intent, but why?
Well, to be honest with you, when you add, the more editing tools we add, the more we can round trip better with everyone else. Like this year, we added multicam support. We also added a large amount of audio tools, and now we can round trip with Pro Tools much more natively. So all of the round trip, because at the end of the day, there are editors who like the edit system that they use.
Wait a minute. I just had a mental disconnect. Why is a color grading system round tripping with Pro Tools? Help me understand this relationship.
If you're finishing in Resolve for the video, for the images, you need to finish the audio as well. So this way, if someone did their entire edit in Resolve and you have the audio there, you need to be able to round trip with Pro Tools to do the finished audio.
So it's not that you're necessarily trying to replace every editor that's out there, but you want to be able to integrate better with every editor that's out there.
Exactly, because most people have a copy of Resolve. I mean, the light version is free, obviously, and so it becomes the Swiss Army knife to be able to integrate between everywhere. So, because for instance, if you get to a facility, maybe someday there'll be a facility where everyone uses Resolve for editing. You hire a new editor, and that guy says, "Well, actually, I like to use this." Well, that's great. That's fine, because you can integrate, round trip with the Resolve, and it's not a problem. You don't want to miss things.
So Resolve 12 was introduced. Did you announce a ship date?
So Resolve, July. So we'll be shipping that in July.
Okay. Cameras, what's happening there?
Well, yeah, quite a few announcements there. I guess we'll start with, I'll start with Ursa. Ursa we introduced last year. And one of the things about Ursa was that it was an upgradable platform. So
now, what is Ursa?
Right, sorry. So Ursa is our largest cinema camera. So it's a 4K production cinema camera. And it has a 10-inch flip-out screen. It has two other 5-inch screens that are used for various menus. And you can see audio metering, and you can see histogram and things like that. So it's really designed for more than one person to be operating the camera. So part of that was also to have this upgradable sensor, because the hardware, the body is pretty robust. So this way, as time goes over, instead of throwing out a camera, you upgrade to the new sensor. So this year we introduced a new sensor. It's a 4.6K sensor. So it's got 15 stops of dynamic range. So this way you're shooting larger than 4K, similar to what we did early on with HD, where we had a 2.5K HD sensor.
You
for
would
HD.
overshoot so you could change your framing.
Exactly. So it's the same thing for 4K here. And so what we've done is this 4.6K sensor with 15 stops of dynamic range is an upgrade for those that already have an Ursa, and we'll be shipping it later this summer. And so we'll have two versions of the camera now. We'll have a 4K version, which we lowered the price down to $49.95, and then the full in an EF, and then on the full size it'll be $79.95. So we're is that not right? No, $69.95. Sorry, $7,000. I know I keep having to take the $5 off, and it throws me off. But so so that's there. Also, we include, or not included, but we introduced a new Blackmagic EVF. So we have electronic viewfinder for it's called the Blackmagic Ursa viewfinder, and so that works with the Ursa, obviously, and it's got because we had put power and an SDI out on Ursa anyway, so it's an OLED display. It's a full HD 1920 by 1080. It's really beautiful. It's got the ability to
except it's awfully big. It would be nice if you had a smaller camera.
Well, that's right. So Ursa, it's like it's one of those things where the Goldilocks of the three, this one's too firm and that kind of thing. So now we have Ursa Mini, which is really designed to be that handheld camera that we introduced from the start that everybody rigged out. So this one has the choice of the 4K sensor and the 4.6K sensor. It's limited to only 60 frames per second, unlike the Ursa, the larger one does 120. So there are some limitations between them. It has a flip-out 5-inch screen, but it also has this handle that you can use handheld, which with it's a Ursa Mini shoulder mount kit. You can turn it put it on a turret. So now you have your start-stop, length control on the handle. You have this integrated shoulder pad that will come right off the tripod onto your shoulder. Put on one of our EVFs, and boom, you're going handheld for a much lower cost. It's actually the 4K is $39.95. And the full 4.6K would be $49.95 for the EFs.
And because I have a personal interest, Teranex Minis.
Yes, so that's interesting. We did a lot of 12G upgrading last year, but we really needed to complete that story because 12G is necessary for 60p at Ultra HD 60. So a lot of high frame rate the broadcasters want to do high frame rate for motion. So Teranex Minis, we tried to build a 12G mini converter in the current design, and it just it could boil water. So we decided, well, that's not a good idea. So we have a new design that's either rack mountable or standalone, and they actually look kind of good. You can put a front plate on it with a little video monitor on it, and they have the ability to, like I said, you put them in a rack mount, 3 across. They're very kind of low. You can power them just off powered Ethernet. You don't even need, there is a built-in integrated power supply, so all the guys with the wall warts will be like, ooh, that's good. And it does. They're basically 12G. There also is an optical fiber one to do 12G. They start at $495. I mean, so it's the new, Terranex Mini Invasion.
And Terranex used to be $20,000. Amazing. What website can people go to learn more?
It's www.blackmagicdesign.com.
That's all one word, blackmagicdesign.com. Bob Caniglia is the Senior Regional Manager for Eastern North America for Blackmagic Design. Bob, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Durin Gleaves is the product owner of Adobe Audition. He works with Adobe Systems, in case you hadn't wondered which Adobe I was talking about. Anyway, Durin is a long-time guest on the show, and it's wonderful to have you back.
Happy to be back.
So what's the news from Adobe? We're going to be talking with Bill Roberts a little later this week and talking about the whole product reveal. But give us a quick summary of what Adobe announced, and I want to focus on Audition.
Sure. Bill Roberts will be able to tell a lot more about what we've really come out with.
Hang on a second.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
With this release, but for Premiere, the big story is color. The color workflows are just phenomenal, and some of the new technologies and mobile apps we're building around color and assisting colors, Lumetri layouts and profiles and looks and all that is just incredible. With After Effects, it's really about performance. And the new character animator application that we're coming out with to use a webcam to capture motion and apply that to animation and characters and bring that right into After Effects is great.
Now, we had a conversation earlier in our first show with Oliver Peters, who was talking about the character animator, and with Carrie Dismore about how that works within After Effects. So if you haven't had a chance to hear their conversation in the first show, do watch both Carrie and Oliver. But they were also saying cool stuff has happened to Audition, and I know that's the one that's near and dear to your heart.
That's
so
my baby.
What's happening with Audition?
So we're really focused with this release on improving video workflows. So we're working so much tighter with Premiere Pro these days. When you're sending sequences over to Audition, no more rendering video. We'll just stream that using Dynamic Link right out of Premiere, right into Audition.
Now, what's Dynamic Link?
Dynamic Link is a technology Adobe has for cross-pollinating between the applications. So you might bring in an After Effects project, drop that into your timeline. After Effects is running in the background, a headless version, doing all the processing and all the magic that After Effects does, and representing in your Premiere timeline as just a normal clip. So you can go back and make changes, and it automatically updates in your Premiere project. And so we're doing that with Audition.
So the benefit is essentially you're passing like an XML file, just a small little data snippet over, and Audition is smart enough to know how to interpret all that internal Premiere stuff and play it without us having to waste time rendering a file to be able to see what the picture looks like.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So what else have you done with Audition? I mean, like, what more? I want more.
Well, to go along with that, there's no point in having video if you can't see it in all its beautiful gorgeousness. So now we have external monitor support, so you can pop your video display up on the screen on the big monitor. If you're doing ADR, you can pipe it right into the booth, and they can lip sync along at whatever resolution your video is at.
Yeah, but the problem is, the more that you're starting to do video playback, the more computing resources you're taking away from the audio, which reduces my track count, which reduces the filters that I can work with. It means that I can't do as much with my audio because all this bandwidth is taken up with video. How do you solve that conundrum?
Upgrade your systems? No. No, again, our focus on all our applications is really always improving performance. Things are going to always get bigger and louder and take up more resources. And so we just have to come up with better ways of handling the memory and handling the disk space, disk usage. And Audition's always been a pretty lightweight application, memory-wise and CPU-wise. So we play pretty well. You know, Premiere's still running, but you're not having all that UI on top if it's running in the background on through this dynamic link. So it's a lot more efficient for these kind of workflows as well.
So if I wanted to equip a system for Audition, do I need to overload it with RAM, or what kind of RAM footprint do you recommend for audio mixing?
If you're mixing to video, the footprint obviously goes up. A couple gigabytes is a great start. You know, you don't really need a lot. Audition's pretty lightweight, but the more you throw at it, the better it runs. So
will you take advantage of more RAM?
Yes, we will. We'll take advantage of more processors. We'll take advantage of faster disks. All that stuff really, SSD drives especially, really have the best performance for the dollar.
GPU acceleration, is that relevant for audio?
It's not relevant for the sound, but for the video streaming and for the UI. You know, we can do some of the spectral processing that we do can take advantage of a little bit of GPU.
Now, I've had many conversations with you in the past, and just listening to you talk about Audition Your Baby is just a fun thing to do. What's the feature that you like the best that hasn't gotten anywhere near the amount of love from Adobe PR that you wish it had?
I'm impressed with our loudness tools. We've had loudness correction for years, and it's just been the last couple of years that we've really seen that in the industry. People, for broadcasters and radio and television, the Calm Act and these new loudness requirements. And I'm seeing our customers dropping $5,000 on a plugin when we had the same tools there for 5 years now.
Well, that's the radar, isn't it, that sweeps around that shows how loud your sound is?
That's a passive meter, so you can see if you're mixing manually.
Because that is so cool to watch. I mean, even if I don't understand what it's doing, it makes such pretty pictures.
Yeah, those are from our friends over at TC Electronic, and yeah, that's some great eye candy. And it's useful. I mean, it's all on one screen. You have all these different loudness measurements and numbers coming at you, and if as long as you know what they are, they're great and they're useful. But yeah, that cloud.
So that's a good question. Where do we go to learn how to read all this stuff? I mean, the loudness meter shows me all kinds of interesting stuff, but I don't necessarily know exactly where to be setting my settings. How can I make sure that I'm learning how to use the gear properly?
I think that's part of our struggle too. We do share that information on our blog, and we do share it on Twitter and our forums, but it tends to be a little spread out, and if you don't know what to look for, it can be a little difficult to find. So I think one of our missions over the next year is to really consolidate that information for folks who are now having to deal with loudness and having to deal with broadcast regulations and the legalities behind all that. And if I can do anything to keep folks from getting fined, I think it's great.
Oh, yeah. and just to be able to analyze your clip and say, we've got holes here, or it looks, we do a lot of mixing with our live show, and the audio engineer, I get together after every show, look at the waveform and study the levels and do the analysis just to see, is this making the sense that we want it to? So the tools that you provide are amazing.
Thanks.
And fun to work with. I love working in Audition every day. The BuZZ is recorded in Audition and mixed in Audition. We work with it on a weekly basis. So
excellent.
We're firm believers. Thinking of that, where can people go on the web to learn more about Audition and the other products that Adobe's got to offer?
You can always come to adobe.com. We have the latest information there. Lots of tutorials through Adobe TV and some of our partners. You can come to our forums, the Adobe Audition forums, user forums, and we post every day on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else.
And the person that's doing a lot of the posting is Durin Gleaves. He's the product owner, which puts him right up near the angels of Adobe Audition with Adobe Systems. Durin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
today.
Larry.
Take care. I've got a ton of brand new training videos showcasing all the new features in Final Cut Pro 10.2, and they're all available today. In fact, we've updated our entire Final Cut training for this release. We added more than 70 new movies covering every major and minor new feature in the software. Then I figured as long as I was recording, I added new techniques and new ways of working that I've discovered and written about in my newsletter over the years. We've updated our workflow and editing training with 31 new movies and effects with 41 new movies. This makes our Final Cut training the most comprehensive, most up-to-date, and most affordable way to learn everything about this amazing software. It's quick, it's easy, and it's complete. I'm proud of all of my training, and especially proud of this one. Get your copy today in our store at larryjordan.com, or even better, become a member of our video training library and get access to all of our training for one low monthly price. Both are incredible values. Thanks. Rag Srinivasan is the Senior Director of Product Management for HGST, which is a part of Hitachi, which makes storage, which means that I really like Hitachi, even if I don't understand what HGST does. Rags, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Larry.
Now, this is really cool because you guys have come up with some new ways of storing data, which allows us to cram more into less space, which is what every video producer wants to be able to do. But we're not necessarily rocket scientists, so without necessarily explaining the exact biochemistry involved, what have you guys come up with?
Okay, so we call this as simplicity at scale. Exactly your point. We want our customers to focus on their domain, focus on their innovation, and not take the time to solve the storage problem. So we want to make the storage problem go away for them by delivering a simple solution. So if you come by our booth, what we have here is a fully integrated storage system, which out of the box, all they need to do is they wheel it in, add power, add network, and it provides an Amazon S3 compatible interface. So all the applications and everything readily start running up very quickly without having like an army of people to stand it up, configure, maintain, upgrade, and all those complexities.
Okay, now I'm confused. Every hard disk, every RAID I've ever worked with, I can plug into my computer, add power, and it shows up on my desktop. So what's new about what you've announced?
It's a scale. It's a single system in one rack. It's a 4.7 petabytes of capacity.
How many?
4.7 petabytes.
Not terabytes.
No.
Not gigabytes.
No, not gigabytes.
Petabytes.
Petabytes of storage. That's
and
correct.
It browns out Cleveland when we plug it in? I mean, how much power does this thing take?
Oh, it's actually, we have it in our data sheet as well. It takes very little power and compared to any other system that is out there to solve this level of scale. We deliver 50 to 70% better savings over any other white box or other options that are out there.
So is this a replacement for a server, or is this a replacement for direct attached storage?
Well, it is a solution for managing large amounts of data. Okay, it has servers in it to run our own software. But what it is like customers have data many data sources. Including in here, they want to convert digital archive, or they want to build in a DVR in the cloud, or they want to build in video on demand services to the customers. All this requires humongous amounts of storage in a small amount of footprint. Okay, this makes it an easy solution for them for the storage problem. So they wheel it in, connect the power, and then it gives them an S3 interface out of the box so that all the applications can immediately start working and using this storage system.
So is what you're providing, is it software or is it hardware?
Okay, it's a system where the hardware and software are fully integrated. The software is optimized to work closely with our hardware. Okay, so that we start with our drives, which is our drive innovations, which is our 8 terabyte helium drives, which already has the lowest of the power, less than 1 watt per terabytes. And then we designed our own systems to hold these drives because we understand our drives far better than anyone else. We can pack in many of those drives into our systems. Okay, and also deliver a system that takes far less power and far less footprint. And then we worked with the Amplitude Data before. Now it is part of our offering. As you saw 3 weeks ago, we announced the acquisition of Amplitude Data software. So that software is fully integrated, fully optimized to work with our hardware to deliver the maximum value to our customers to solve the storage problems.
Now, I was just doing a math. If you're providing roughly 4 terabytes of storage, and if the average hard disk holds 4 petabytes.
petabytes of storage.
My fault. 4 petabytes of storage. That's going to be about 588
drives to be precise.
So that doesn't fit in the back pocket.
No, it does not. That's one of the things is where we designed our enclosures, which is allows us to pack in many drives into a small 4U footprint. Okay.
How big?
4U. In a 4U, we have 98 drives.
98 drives in a rack that's 4 units high?
In a 4U, and there are 6 of them in our rack. Okay, that gives you 588 drives in a single rack.
I was envisioning like 5 dump trucks full of drives, and you've got it in less than one rack.
That is correct. That's where we work closely with our drive team, where we understand the rotational vibration characteristics. We can pack a lot more of them. We can get a lot more density. That's how. Okay.
How much is this? How much does a starter kit cost?
So we did announce an MSRP, as you know. It's the list price is $849,000 for this system. It's a 4.7 petabyte RAW. It's meant for active archive workloads. So we see all across, be it customers trying to build a private cloud or to build this as an infrastructure for public cloud, or here, video on demand or a cloud DVR. This provides a right solution that they can get started with and move forward with very quickly.
That is very cool stuff. Have you announced the ship date for this?
Yes, so we just shipping now. So we're talking to a lot of customers. Several of the customers are already doing a proof of concepts as well. So it's a super interesting time for us to be with this product and help solve the data growth problems.
Now, one more thing, because you mentioned something I want to make sure I'm clear on. You're providing an Amazon S3 interface, so for people that are used to using Amazon's cloud services, which is what Amazon S3 is.
Yes.
You're emulating a similar file structure so people understand how to do Amazon, they'll know how to do you?
It's the interface level, yes. The Amazon S3 interface has become the de facto standard of the web scale applications. So you look around everywhere, anyone now today standing up a web scale application, be it a photo sharing or a video streaming, they automatically gravitate towards using Amazon S3 interface. Okay, it makes sense. It has become almost the open standard. So we built our system to provide that open interface to our customers. So internally, we take advantage of our vertical innovation, where we start with our drives and enclosures and custom design software that extracts more value, that continues to make sure we preserve the openness on the outside, but internally, the vertical innovation that drives the value.
Cool. And where can people go on the web to learn more very quickly?
It's go to hgsd.com.
That's hgst.com, and Rag Srinivasan is the Senior Director of Product Management for HGST. Rags, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
One of the things that we've got to do is add about 5 more seconds to change guests, because people are sprinting behind the scenes, let me tell you. Our last guest is a long-term friend, is Jess Hartman. He's the CEO of Promax Systems, and you've heard of Promax for years and years and years. They're not only a reseller of gear, but they're also a manufacturer of gear, and Platform is one of the ones that they've made recently that they're doing a great job with. Jess, it's good to have you back again.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it.
So give me a précis. What is Promax these days? How would you describe the company?
Well, I would say one correction is that we are a full manufacturer. We do not resell anybody else's equipment.
Thank you for the correction. That's an error on my part. I apologize.
Other solutions. We have distributors and resellers throughout the world now, and we are primarily selling our platform systems, our platform workflow servers.
And what is the platform?
The platform as a workflow server is basically a awesome shared storage device with many different capabilities built in, including transcoding, rendering, asset management that's built into the system. And so it's really about creating better workflows from capture all the way through delivery.
So it's much more than just a server. It's much more than just file management.
It really is. You know, it's interesting. I went to prepare for my reseller meeting before the show, and I did a little research on who's here at NAB, and there are 34 shared storage vendors here in the hall, just in the South Hall.
That's enough to intimidate anybody.
So it would tell you that the world believes that shared storage is the place to be. The reality is, you know, in my opinion, in the next couple of years, shared storage is also going to become a commodity play. And to that concept, if you aren't adding value in other ways, you're not going to make it in this industry. And so when we look at it, when I look at the future, it's about workflows. It's always been about workflows. That's where we started the product. That's because we came from that industry of putting in solutions. And so A workflow server to me is the ability to ingest directly into shared storage, to be able to transcode to a mezzanine format, to be able to assist the editor with offloading and rendering. And
so your definition of workflow is doing something with the files that are on the device, as opposed to just simply storing the files and making them accessible to multiple users.
That's exactly correct. We are trying to offload the processing power onto a high-powered server environment, so that because so many people are editing on their MacBook Pro, the power is not going to be on the Apple MacBook Pro going forward. They're continuing to reduce the amount of consumption, about battery life on these things. The CPUs are not going to get faster. They're not designed for that. So we want to offload that power onto the server.
So where does platform fit in? Because it's a multiplicity of products.
It is. So, platform, and I want to talk about today an introduction of something that I brought with me here is a platform portable. But platform goes everywhere from a high-end rack mount system up to just under a petabyte of very fast editing storage. I also have a nearline device as well, but it goes all the way down to a portable environment where you can take it out on set or use it in a small office environment.
So you see it as a family of shared storage devices that provide workflow solutions in a variety of applications.
That's exactly correct. Yep.
I got to read your marketing literature more often.
You got to look at it every once in a while. Yeah.
So what have you got that's new?
So what I brought with me today is the platform portable.
Small handheld thing.
The platform portable is a...
Let's take a look at it on this camera out here.
Is literally a portable device. The great part about the platform portable is that it's a bring your own storage device. So if you look at the back of it,
just a minute,
just flip that guy around. What you're going to see is that
there's no discs in here.
There's no discs in there. Although we do have a model that does have discs. The general idea is take your G-Tech G-RAID, plug it in. It's Thunderbolt 2. It allows you to put FireWire on it, eSATA. USB 2, USB 3, all connectivity capability. Put your shared storage, your attached storage on it. Then connect your editors through an Ethernet connection directly to the workstation in a very portable environment, and you're sharing content. You are pushing transcode requirements. You are offloading rendering. You are doing all of the things that need to be done to improve the speed of a content creation.
Is that shipping?
That's been shipping for months now. Since IBC, we actually introduced it.
Well, that's not new then.
Well,
What's
it's pretty new. It's
stuff?
It's not been new here. Oh, we'll tell you something new. Always got something new yet. So although it was debuted at IBC, it's shipping now. It's and it's getting lots of traction.
So just as a summary, this is essentially an interface that goes between the network and the storage.
It is a server. It's a server, and it goes between. If you've got a FireWire drive, you plug that FireWire drive in here. You connect your workstations to it, and now you can edit off the FireWire drive. But in addition, because it has asset management built in, it'll index your FireWire drive. It'll create proxies on the things on your FireWire drive. It'll allow you to transcode stuff that's on your FireWire drive. So it's a full workflow server.
Cool. So what's the new news?
The new news, as you guys know, we bought Cache Corporation, the assets to Cache last year.
I thought it was a wonderful thing for both of you. That was a wonderful acquisition.
It's a good thing, and we have just come out with phase 1 of our product reinvention on the Cache side. So we have all brand new hardware. Brought that all up to speed for reliability and speed, and significant changes there. And we also introduced a...
Now, let me just interrupt. What Cache is network attached LTO storage, LTO archiving. So you can basically take the stuff that's on your server or your platform and then use the cache device from any device on the network to lay stuff off to LTO tape for long-term permanent archiving. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
So what's the new stuff?
So the new stuff in the Cache line is to revamp the entire hardware product line. It's been a few years since it was brought up to speed, so it's all brought up to speed in terms of significant speed increases and also reliability with cooling and various things that were necessary.
What's the entry price for the Cache device?
So the Cache device is still around the 7 mark. Yep.
So about 7,000.
Yep. Yep. And in addition to that, where we're taking the Cache, I bought the systems and the capabilities so that we can merge it together in the platform. And so platform will be this end-to-end ingest through archive product as we go forward.
So basically, rather than 2 boxes, they'll be integrated into one.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Yep.
You guys do good work.
Thank you. Thank you. We have one last thing, just a note. We have extended our platform line to a nearline product. So as everybody's pushing higher capacities, we have 288 terabytes in a 4U setting, and that's only for $45,000.
I'll buy 6.
Just if you need them, Larry. I know you're always out of space.
I do indeed. Jess, where can people go on the web to get more information?
Standardpromax.com, Promax.
Promax.com. The CEO of Promax is Jess Hartman. And Jess, as always, thanks for joining us today.
You, Larry.
Take care.
You too.
You know, what a great show, and so many wonderful announcements from so many wonderful companies, and this is just the start of NAB. That's what I like the best about it. We began with Dana Ruzicka talking about what Avid's latest announcements are with Avid First, Media Composer First, which is the free version of Media Composer. Bob Caniglia talking about 38 different new announcements from Blackmagic Design. Durin Gleaves theoretically talking about all the Adobe products, but you and I both know that what he really loves is Adobe Audition, which is just a killer audio program, and it's wonderful to have Durin on the show. Rag Srinivasan is the Senior Director of Product Management, talking about some serious storage at 4 petabytes that can fit inside one rack, 500 to 8 terabyte hard disk. Amazing. And Jess Hartman, the CEO of Promax Systems, talking about the new platform he's put together. There's a lot more to come from NAB. Be sure to check out our social pages on Twitter and Facebook and nabshowbuzz.com. My name is Larry Jordan, and thanks for listening to the Digital Production Buzz.
The Buzz would like to thank Debbie Price, our event producer, One Beyond for the cameras and video streaming system, Advantage Video Systems for the onstage monitor, and our incredible BuZZ production team for making all of these shows possible.
The Digital Production Buzz at the 2015 NAB Show was made possible by supporting sponsors. Shutterstock, a global marketplace for royalty-free images and videos. With over 2 million royalty-free HD and 4K video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. And by One Beyond, leaders in digital video systems for streaming, archive, and storage. Additional sponsors include LarryJordan.com, helping media pros find work, improve their skills, and keep clients happy.